To Kenny Loggins about his new career as Hollywood's musical Top Gun. And our Richard Blade and Christine McKenna review the year in rock with our in-studio guest, Frank Zappa. And our man Clarence tells us what it is. All that when we come back in 2 minutes and 2 seconds.
Evening news. Yeah.
We're back, and our Richard Blade is here now with a good friend of the Rock and Roll Evening News, Frank Zappa.
It's been an eventful year in rock, and with the new year fast approaching, we've asked our friend Frank Zappa to come back and give us his unique insights into some of the events that shaped rock and roll in the year of 1986. Frank, what kind of a year was it?
It was an incredibly boring year in rock. It really wasn't an eventful year at all. The most creative things that happened in the United States took place in the White House basement.
I heard, talking of the White House and legislation and things like that, that the Parents Music Resource Center went off to New York recently to pressure some of the record labels to comply with their urging to put the labels on the records. Now, according to some of our research, they are, quote, reviewing the results of the past year, because I think it's about 1 year to the day almost that they came in with this legislation. Has it been effective?
It wasn't legislation. Let's get some facts straight. There was an agreement that occurred November 1st last year, and the agreement never should have occurred, but the record industry decided it would be a nice thing to do to help these women save a little face, because basically, last year, a group of women married to people in government decided to ask for a bunch of things that were really completely unreasonable. They wanted the record industry to bend over for their wishes. And by the time the Senate had heard this matter on September 19th, they had given up on everything except for the request for a warning sticker on rock albums.
I hear, though, that of the committee now, 11 of the 12 that have been officially elected to the committee are wives of either senators or representatives. So do you think they will try and introduce some legislation?
Not on the federal level. They've already tried it on the state level. There was a bill that was put through partially in Maryland in the early part of the year, and then eventually was defeated in the state Senate in Maryland. And I understand that certain types of record labeling legislation are under consideration in other states. I don't think that there's going to be any federal legislation, but I could be wrong. The people in Washington have a tendency to do things that are really utterly stupid.
So hopefully people will be allowed to continue to make up their own minds about the type of music they listen to and buy.
Boy, I sure hope so.
Yeah. There's a lot of talk about drugs and rock at the moment, and this week MTV started airing public service spots for a campaign called Rock Against Drugs. Here's one of those spots.
Hi, my name's Steve Jones. I used to play guitar with a band called the Sex Pistols. A good friend of mine, Sid Vicious, died from drugs. I nearly died from drugs. Drugs suck.
RAD, Rock Against Drugs. What do you think about RAD?
What can I say? The drug problem is based on the desire for people to get out of it. And if you want them to stop using drugs, then stop giving people reasons to escape from reality. If you hate your life and if you think there's no hope, you're going to go right for the drugs. If you cut the drugs off at the source, people are going to find something else to get wasted on. The problem is bad social behavior caused by all different kinds of substance abuse, not just drugs, but alcohol, religion, too much television. People are trying to find different ways to escape from reality. And if you take a look around and the behavior of some of the adults who actually control our reality, you would say there's a good reason for people to want to get wasted.
Well, what do you think the alternative is? Do you think, you know, we should try and strengthen the family unit? Should all TV be like The Cosby Show or what?
No. I wouldn't say that at all. First of all, family units come in all different shapes and sizes, and strengthening them, if you consider that most of the bad things that happen in the world today are done by grown-ups, not by kids, okay? And to strengthen that unit so that children spend more time with their parents, let's make sure their parents are very responsible, well-behaved individuals. Otherwise, the children may be adversely affected by the strengthened family unit.
How about these actual commercials themselves? Do you think that any of the rockers are just doing it for an image?
I don't know what their motives are, but I always tend to believe that when movements start or funds are raised for various things, that the money doesn't always go where it's supposed to go, and the movement itself doesn't always do what it pretends to do.
Well, there's been a few movements in rock and roll, and I'd like to play a little game of word association with you, if I could. Ask you some names, and you tell me what you think of them and what they've done for the year so far. And I think the first name has to be Bruce Springsteen.
Well, remember when Bruce managed to get on the cover of Time and Newsweek in the same week a long time ago and hadn't sold nearly the amount of records that he's done today? Don't you think it's time for him to be on the cover of both those magazines again?
So you think he deserves all the success and fame?
Well, the fact is that when he was on the cover, there wasn't the real broad acceptance. Like, that was a manipulation. Boom, both covers. Now, people flock by the hundreds and millions and thousands, and, you know, you say Bruce and they're there.
Yeah, well, she is on the cover of Life. We're talking about Madonna. What was her influence in 1986?
Well, I was looking at the script back there, and, you know, the way it said Madonna and Sean Penn, and I had a great answer for it.
Okay, so Madonna and Sean Penn in 1986.
Okay, the logical choice to replace Poindexter and North.
Okay, here's another great couple for you. The Old Monkeys and the New Monkeys.
Well, see, I had a good line for that, too. When I was on the Joan Rivers show, I had another line about monkeys. I'm going to use it here. We're talking about the green monkeys instead of those monkeys. Remember, who's pluking the monkeys?
We'll find out as the year goes
That's
on,
right.
no doubt. Run DMC.
I like the way their shoes are very loose. And I like them. I think that one of the mistakes that the Grammy Committee has made is not having a special award for that style of music. They should have had something.
So
like
rap
that.
music for 87. Thanks, Frank, for coming on the Rock and Roll Evening News in 1986. It's been a real pleasure. Have a great Thanksgiving. Have a great Thanksgiving weekend, and please drive safely. We'll be right back.